Welcome back to the Skid Factory Quick Tech. Today we're going to show you how to make your own ignition leads. We're getting towards the tail end of building Dave's LS turbo-powered VK Commodore and we're making some ignition leads for it. We've got IGN1A coils, which are very powerful smart coil, and we've got leads we need to run to those spark plugs. So we're going to make our own. We normally use MSD leads. They come in kits that that have one end terminated and you can terminate the other end to your own length. There's probably heaps of other brands that do that. We don't care about MSD in particular, but they just happen to have the right stuff that we need to do what we've got to do. So the first thing we need to do is we've got our coils mounted. They have to be in the right spot. Sometimes it's a dizzy. This applies to distributors as well. We put the ignition leads on the plugs. You pick your end. You can get straight or angled ends. We're using angled ends and facing the leads below because we've got a turbo exhaust manifold coming out of the head. So they come out from underneath. I've got them all sort of zip tied up together to get the length right. Then we poke them up and we've got 4 on each side just dangling out. I have numbered them cylinder wise because once they're all bunched up together it's easy to get confused. They previously had a bit of tape on them just with which cylinder number they were, and now have the MSD cylinder numberer which comes with the kit. So then we go up to our coils, we find our lengths to the appropriate coil. I've got the coils numbered, I've got the leads numbered, and then we cut them off. Then I put this on them. So because I've cut off the bit of lead that's got the homemade number on it, now I'm going to put the proper number on it. Now it's at the right length. So it's got this little applicator thing with it. It's pretty cool. It took me a while to work out what this thing actually was when I first got one of these kits. It looks kind of strange. I'm sure I've seen something like that in Woody's bathroom cabinet actually. Now we got the lengths right, cut off. We've got the identifier tags on them for cylinder number. Now we can pull it back off the car and take it over to the vise and start re-terminating the ends. Before we stick our new lead ends on, I'll go through important stuff is that the different types of lead end that you can get, depending on what sort of distributor, coils, distributor cap, whatever. The main 3 types that we would deal with in sort of most performance sort of stuff that isn't European based is the conventional type of coil or distributor end, which looks like that. That's sort of the old school version. That's the bit there, so that this kit comes with a ton of them as well, so it gives you the option depending on which type of distributor cap you've got or coils. The other type is what they call HEI, which is basically just the same sort of tip as a spark plug. So it's a male tip hanging out of the distributor rather than a female cavity. So that's the type we've got to use with those IGN1A coils. And the other main type, which a lot of people will use, is the Ls1 Coil End. This is different to all the other ones, and you must use LS1 specific ends. And I've also noticed that sometimes on the cheaper ends that you buy, they don't come with this. It's like a sort of an isolator, and also holds it all central. This is a factory lead. Actually, it's not a factory lead, it's one I've made. But that's what they have from factory. It is required. They can throw spark out from the coil if you don't have that in there. So if you've got LS1 coils, you must use LS1 coil ends. They are not the same as any of these, and they don't work properly. Dave had LS1 coils on this car, and he did not use these ends, and that's why it was misfiring all the time. The ends were basically all fried from the spark having to jump from the coil to the conductor, when it should be pressed hard against it. So we got this little tool that we get with this particular kit, and that's a cutting die and also the crimper for the terminals. Theoretically, you could hand crimp these with a pair of pliers. In practice, you can't, so don't bother. You need something like this. There is actually a professional crimper that looks like any other wiring crimper, but this little bit of gear here actually does a really good job, and it comes with the kit, so you kind of get what you pay for with this setup. These leads aren't cheap, but they come with all these gears, so you can actually make it properly. Also, one other thing, I'm calling them leads. That's what we call them in Australia. Obviously, they're called ignition wires in America or other parts of the world. It's the same thing, so deal with it. This is our little cutting jig. You just slide the lead wire in. It's got a couple of different levels. One of them is for that type of crimp, and the other one is for this type of crimp. So for ours, it's the shorter one. You slide it in there, make a cut, and twist it off. That's the insulator. This is the conductor. So that's the bit we want to join to the end. Once we've done that, open up our crimp. You can see how this works. See the sort of McDonald's arches sort of thing at the top? That's what folds over these and brings them around to meet properly. With these standard terminals, you actually roll this over back on itself. That's why you cut it longer, and it just tucks underneath like that. With these terminals, they're called dual crimp because you slide it in. This crimp holds on to the insulator, and that crimps the conductor. So it's a bit flasher setup. To get this started, these crimp tangs are pretty wide. You won't get them into that, so we just give them a little tweak in with a pair of pliers. That way they'll fit in there. To finish off the second crimp, they recommend to use needle nose pliers. I'm going to use these wiring pliers or crimpers because they are better, but either will do. So you just got to gently push the second crimp jaws over, and it basically just traps the conductor in between those loops, and just give it a little tweak. They recommend not to be rough with it because you might break them, but basically all it's got to do is pinch down onto that conductor and we're all done. Final thing to do is pop the boot on. These are pretty grippy because they're made out of rubber, so you've got to put a bit of spit in them or some lube of some description.
Sometimes you have to have the boot on first.
Sometimes you do. These ones, the boot's got to go on first.
We've all been there.
Yeah. I'm going to use some Armour All.
What are you using?
Armour All.
For what? To lube?
Yeah, this is what we use to put our golden tyres on. Just have a look inside. You can see it where the HI terminal goes on. Just give it a little tweak, make sure it's facing straight outwards, and you are good to go. And then repeat 7 more times, and then fire up the car and do skids. That clicking on of the lead end sounds good.
It's the wire.
The wire, sorry, the wire. Sounds so satisfying. If you've just stumbled across us from Googling how to make ignition wires on the internets, we've got plenty of other quick tech videos and also some big builds like this one. Check them out. We like cars, we like turbos, we like engines. We like lemon squash. We like you watching, so thanks for watching. Am I supposed to be walking towards you or working on the car or what?
I'm just going to get a photo for a thumbnail. Can you stand over here in front of the car? You look like one of those like silly new age rappers. Lil Skid Factory, Lil Plug Lead. But you got to have like a face tattoo or something. You like give me a Pantene Pro V flick?
Like a Sebi mullet flick.
Yeah. They kind of stick in there, alright? Some people would pay good money for that, dude.
I'm bald. No!